Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to kids, I believe moral values is something that's very important. It helps to shape up their entire life, and I believe that they become the people who they are eventually because of the kind of grooming, the mental conditioning. And I believe in terms of that, values is something that's very important, so it needs to be imparted the right way. The next topic for the moment is value-based education for kids. For that, may I please call upon stage Nityanand Charan, leadership and mindfulness coach, for a session.
तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, I actually do not like to go to malls, and I didn't know this event is here. But now when I have come inside, I think I'm going to come again. It's just the child in me. It's just maybe pushing me to come back, seeing all this. But the topic that has been given to me is value education for the kids. And there is a good news and a bad news as well. Bad news is that in a country like India, which is the land of dharma, righteousness, we have to discuss this topic. And second, the good news is that we are discussing it actually. Because in India, the culture that we have, the values come naturally. I remember when I was growing up, in my school, we used to have textbooks which would teach us that every morning you wake up, first you offer pranams to Mother Earth. Then you go and touch feet of your parents, other elders in the family. Then you offer respects to Surya Dev, like that. So there was that value system. Unfortunately, at least I am not aware if those books are still in practice and if they are still being taught. Because with the passage of time, things do get degraded. Could you just request them to lower their volume? Yeah, so with the passage of time, things do get lost. That is why Kala or time factor is the most important or the most powerful force in this world. And just like the definition of success, over the last 70 years, the definition of success has changed. And whatever we believe in, that's what we teach our children, right? So the definition of success has changed from character ethics to personality ethics. Earlier, the definition of success was if a person had a good character, the values of humility, compassion, modesty, selflessness, service attitude. And now the personality ethics have become the success, the definition of success. How you behave in your social interactions, how you dress up, how you smile. Now, if you are at the top, it doesn't matter how you have reached that level, even if you had manipulated your way to the top, still you are considered a success. So with the passage of time, things have degraded. And the value system, of course, has gone down. Now, because of this, parents are teaching their children how to be successful, how to be famous, right? But are we also teaching them how to be happy? Success, fame, and happiness, these are three different things. A person may be very successful in life, but may not be very famous. He may just want, he doesn't want any limelight. He may be just living in the background. And a person may be very famous, but not successful. Take, for example, a TikToker. Now, he may have like 20 million followers. He may be making some weird stuff, shorts. What do you call those on, like Instagram, we have reels, shorts on YouTube. What do you call short videos on TikTok? Anyways, you understood. So a person may make some weird stuff and he gets like millions of views. Now, does that mean he's also successful? He's famous, but he's not successful. At the same time, people may be very successful and famous, not necessarily they are happy also. And the reason, I'll give you some statistics. Like scientific advancement has made our life very comfortable, no doubt about that. But it was also promised that scientific advancement will lead to happiness. Comfortable? Yes. But every year, the number of people committing suicide is increasing. Every year, more than 1 million people, and this is just the reported number, more than 1 million people committing suicide all over the world. So that means, and this number is greater than the number of people being killed in murderous crimes, terrorist attacks, and wars combined together. One terrorist attack, and there is so much hue and cry. The whole nation, the whole world talks about it. One war, everybody talks about it. One murder, everybody talks about it. Everyone reports about it. And still, the number of people, all three combined together, and on one side we have the number of people killing themselves is greater than the number of people being killed by others. And there's no discussion about it. So where is the value system? So the whole world is teaching us how to grow externally. Now imagine a tree. Imagine this tree. Is it real? No, no? It's not real. So just imagine this is a real tree and you've seen it grow when it was a plant, little. And so imagine it has grown from outside, but the roots have remained small. What will happen? Thoda sa hawa aayega, gir jayega. That's what is happening. And externally, as they say, smiling faces, crying hearts. Everybody seems to be happy, but little problem in their life, and they come to a point, there is depression, there is anxiety, and they come to a point where they start feeling that dying is less painful than living. So externally, of course, there is a lot of growth, but what about internal growth? What about inner strength? So we have to see that we have to teach our children how to be successful, famous, even if we don't teach. their destiny will bring these two things to them, if it is in their destiny. And if they do their part, they play their part. Now, two things are there. Not that वो destiny में है आ ही जाएगा तो बैठे रहो घर पे. Two things. There are two extremes. Some people think सब वो देख लेंगे. And some people think यही करना पड़ेगा, इसी से होगा, कर्म से ही सब कुछ होगा. Both are extremes. Now, there is कर्मवाद and देववाद. देववाद means कुछ मत करो वो देखेंगे. कर्मवाद mean हमारे कर्म पे ही सब कुछ है, वो सब कुछ नहीं. Both are two extremes. Now you sow a seed, that is karma, that is our effort. But is that enough? We need rains also, and that is the grace. So there is effort and the grace. There is karma, and therein there is divine grace. So when it comes to value system, what kind of values are we teaching? Because we all have a nature. Even if somebody is very naughty, a child, very naughty child, now you may tell him, stop doing this, sit in that corner. For how long? Right? He has a nature to be very active, very naughty. So how much ever we try to teach values externally, oh, you shouldn't be angry, you shouldn't have ego, you should be humble. But what about that person's nature? The Bhagavad Gita, I'll bring that angle into this discussion now because it is very important. Because Gita is like the manual for life. It creates that foundation. वहाँ से फिर समझ में आएगा क्या करना है. So everybody, Krishna says, is born with a particular nature coming from the past. And that's why we think, I like this kind of food, I like this color, I like this kind of association, this is my faith. Where is that coming from? I like music, I like sports. That's the nature we are carrying from the past, and it is extremely difficult to change it by our own efforts externally. So how much ever we try to inculcate values in children, but what about that nature that they are carrying? It will manifest at some point. So therefore, when we talk about a value system, it must start at the age of 5. Chanakya Pandit says that from 1st to 5th year, give your children as much love as possible. And 5 to 16, strict discipline. Teach them whatever you want to teach them. And 16 onwards, treat them as your best friends. हम लोग कई बार उल्टा कर देते हैं. 5 से 16 तक जो करना है करो, and then 16 के बाद we try to bring them back. So this is the age of learning. And when we talk about value system or education, there is material learning, but at the same time we also have to start creating a very strong spiritual foundation from the age of 5. Because there is a verse in the Bhagavad, I'll talk about the scientific aspect also. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunes tatra samasate suraha. That anyone who has a genuine spiritual foundation, the child or any person will automatically develop all the values without any separate endeavor or without somebody coming and training him up in those values. They will automatically manifest. All the divine qualities will manifest. There is a psychiatrist named Keith Ward. He has written a book, Is Religion Dangerous? And his findings, he says, children who have a strong spiritual foundation, they are less prone to depression, hypertension, criminal tendencies are almost nil, and they are mentally stronger than their non-believing counterparts. He's not an Indian, he's not even somebody who follows religion, but this is his analysis. 3 people from Harvard, they collected 2,000 already published papers from all over the world, researched and published. Not that they did some research. And the research was centered around attending one religious sermon in a week. That's what they call it. We call it satsang, we call it value education or whatever. So, but he was specifically referring to a religious sermon, spirituality. Now, when we say value system, I'm specifically referring to spiritual values. So that being the foundation. So he said children, all those 2000 papers had one thing in common, that children who attended at least one such session in a month, in a week, they tend to be much happier, stronger mentally, and they live longer, they found, by 6.5 to 13.2 years. So you talk about scriptures, you talk about science. They both speak the same thing. So this education also must start at the age of 5. Material advancement, yes. We teach everybody, whoever is dependent on us, material advancement, but simultaneously we also have to teach them how to advance spiritually. Automatically everything will fall into place. A 13-year-old will not have to commit suicide. A 25-year-old will not have to commit suicide. A 11-year-old will not be going through depression. ये मैं आपको case studies बता रहा हूँ which I've come across. I'm dealing with some of those children, and I'm seeing that I don't do much of counseling. I just involve them in sessions, give them some practice that they can incorporate in their daily routine, and the results are phenomenal. So we shouldn't wait for that stage to come and we start thinking, oh, I wish I had given them this from the beginning. Oh, I wish, now what can we do? So why do we send our children to school when they're young? Because that's the age of learning. So when it comes to learning, learning becomes complete where there is knowledge about matter, the whole world is teaching, and then there is knowledge about spirit, antimatter, which is the spiritual part. And both should go hand in hand. Children pick up samskars from 3 places, or habits you can say. And children, actually, you tell children to do something, they won't pick up that. They will pick up what you do, what they see you doing. Now, we can't be sleeping at 2 in the night and telling our children, jaldi sona chahiye, jaldi sona chahiye, jaldi sona chahiye. Don't be on your phone all the time, and then he or she sees you on the phone all the time, and the language that we use. So samskars, children pick up samskars from 3 places: the school, society, and home, family. Schools are not giving, unfortunately. Maybe rare schools might be, but at least I have not come across any such school. Society is not giving. तो बचा क्या? घर. तो घर पे हम लोग नहीं देंगे, तो फिर कौन देगा? Children are like clean slate. जो आप लिखेंगे, लिखवा लेंगे. And strong mental health is directly proportional to strong spiritual foundation. Another person writes in his book, I forgot the name of the book. But so therefore, mother has been given the position of a guru in the scriptures. Guru, teacher, king, and the mother. And Bhagavad is even more strict. It says no one has the right to become a father, a mother, a guru, a teacher, a leader, if they cannot give their dependents, people who are looking up to them, people who follow them, if they cannot give them this divine connection. In the Gita, Krishna says, anyone who does not have a divine connect, this foundation, he cannot have a steady mind and intelligence. And anyone who doesn't have a steady mind and intelligence cannot have peace. And when there is no peace, where is the question of happiness? So our aspiration to be happy and actual happiness, there is a missing link. And I'll end with this one point. Maybe I'll take 1 or 2 questions if you have. So we all want to be happy, right? No matter what we do, the goal is happiness. If somebody comes and tells me, no, my goal is to earn money, my goal is to become the famous sports star. No, you're all lying. You are doing these things because you think these things will make you happy. But if that same activity stops giving you any happiness, you stop doing it. So the goal is happiness, not the activity. How much ever we do, the happiness that we experience is flickering. The graph is not like going up. It's uneven. So this is the missing link. Why I'm emphasizing on giving a strong spiritual foundation and जहाँ से सब जो value system आप ढूंढ रहे हैं वो निकलेगा, because the Bhagavad Gita explains who we really are. It says we are spiritual beings having these material bodies. So that is our real identity. At our core, we are spiritual. Therefore, spiritual environment is our natural environment. Spiritual life is our natural life. Just like a fish, the natural environment for the fish is water. Now you take the fish out. Take it on a world tour. उसको आप पिज़्ज़ा खिलाइए, गुजराती हैं तो ढोकला थेपला खिलाइए, सिंधी हैं तो सिंधी कड़ी खिलाइए, दाल बाटी खिलाइए, डोसा खिलाइए. Will the fish be happy? वो तो मर जाएगी तड़प तड़प के. So as soon as it is back in water, फिर आप चाहे उसको कुछ दो ना दो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. So because that is the natural environment for the fish. So being spiritual, the first and the foremost and the most fundamental teaching of the Gita, which Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita, as soon as he starts speaking. Because unless we know who we are, बाकी जो भी करेंगे सब गड़बड़ी होगा. Imagine you have a company, you have employed 100 people, and जैसे ही 100 लोग आए, आपने बोला चलो सब काम पे लग जाओ. You not even define the roles. तो chaos होगा, they will be confused. So the first and foremost is to understand who we are, who that self is. We are talking about self-help. And then we can understand, unless I know I am Nityanand Charan Das, मैं भूल चुका हूँ, तो फिर सबको जो भी होगा गलत ही करूँ, किसी के भी घर में चला जाऊँगा, किसी से क्या बात करूँगा, कुछ पता नहीं, कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है. So if we understand this one deep, important concept, that we are spiritual beings, that's the first thing he talks about, not these material bodies, temporary. So it's we who need that help. So a spiritual being cannot be satisfied with any amount of material success or fame. It can only be, now doesn't mean you can't have those things. What I'm trying to say is, don't forget this aspect if you want to be happy in the long run. So when you talk about value system for the children, it must begin at the age of 5 by creating a strong spiritual culture at home where they should see the parents following it, practicing it. And at the same time, when you do it, their why must be answered. Like one lady, she stays close by. She comes to temple and she's one day telling me, Prabhuji, today I brought my son to the temple and मैं उसको लेके आई बस. तो मेरी इच्छा है कि उसको मैं हर 15 दिन में लेके आऊँ. अच्छा किया ना मैंने. I said, yes, you did right. Now even though they may not want to do it, but just like even if they don't want to go to school, we push them. नहीं school जाना है because it's the right thing to do. They don't want to take the medicine, we still do it. But I said, yes, you bring him to temple, let him bathe in that divinity, thoda sa bhi rahega, he'll be blessed. But also make it very clear to him why he should come. Because unless that why is answered, it won't sustain. तो क्यों कर रहे हैं? कुछ पता ही नहीं है. Like you also won't get enthused if you're working in a company. आपसे काम करवाए लेकिन क्यों कर रहे हैं कुछ? वो why is not answered. It doesn't sustain. अभी तो ऐसा है कि चुप-चुप के psychiatrists also have started saying. One of our devotees' mother, she suddenly started going through some depression. घर से निकलना बंद कर दिया, रूम से बाहर निकलना बंद कर दिया. She was somebody who would go for a walk every day. Psychiatrist के पास लेके गए बहुत. Finally the psychiatrist said, "You look, इनको ना कुछ spiritual books वगैरह पढ़ाओ." And she came, she had some books. And आप विश्वास नहीं करेंगे 2 दिन में she's out. Another psychiatrist is telling the mother, ये आपके बच्चे को ना, because he was going through something, इसको थोड़ा बीच-बीच में हफ्ते में एक बार मंदिर में ले जाया करो. So gradually everybody is realizing the Western world has done it all, seen it all, but they're not satisfied. They're looking towards India now. In the Western world, two most important things, most famous things right now, yoga and kirtan. Kirtan and yoga, where is it coming from? So when I say culture, it means this culture. It binds together. A family that prays together stays together. So we have to learn this. And it has contributed a lot to our mental health also. It will continue, even though very few people practice it. But those who do, they are the witness. And personally, when we interact with so many people and see the transformation, they can always, of course, there's nothing better than real life examples. We can keep on talking. At the same time, I can also go on talking about it, but I can just say, this honey is sweet, honey is sweet. How will you understand it unless you taste it? So I never say, okay, you follow whatever I say blindly. Blind acceptance is really bad, but worst is blind rejection. कि बिना try किए, experiment किए ही सब, so you might be missing out on a rare diamond, thinking it to be a broken piece of glass. So yes, there is a great need, and personally, I have been working on this, and I'm just having some discussions going on how to create that culture for children. Like recently, we had one cultural event. So one thing I'm trying to do is have more cultural events where children's talents could be shown to other children also, parents also. So we had them perform a drama on Ramayana, and whole month they were so excited. So just bringing that culture back in. And remember, they don't have to give up anything. You don't have to give up anything. Spiritual life is not a life of rejection. It is a life of connection. आपको कुछ छोड़ना नहीं है, जोड़ना है life में. And if we are convinced about this principle, they will also be convinced. Because what comes from the heart goes to the heart. If they see us being fully satisfied like this, and the best service we can do to them is to be a good example. So therefore, this value system, if you just try to create a strong spiritual foundation for them, prayers, they'll become fearless, mentally much stronger, more balanced. They'll have a clear intelligence to take the right decisions in life. But try to do that, and remember this verse from Bhagavad. Anyone who will have this genuine, strong spiritual foundation will automatically develop all the good qualities. We don't have to worry. Hare Krishna. I have a lot to say, but I think I will stop here. I've completed my 30 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nityanand sir. May I please call upon stage Franklin to